Stirring the coffee with the Kabar Chopsticks using the Vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. So nice. Nice. Oh, by the way, if you didn't get your Kabar Chopsticks yet, there is a link down below. I have 2 sets of Kabar Chopsticks, and it started out almost as a joke, because they have I don't know if you can see that, they actually have the handle and the shape of a Kabar knife, and I just think it's kind of funny, and they're just textured enough to be able to grip your food, for those of you that like eating with chopsticks. But I will tell you, here's like a weird little life hack. You will eat less when you eat with chopsticks. Why is that? Because for most people in Western culture, we shovel our food with forks and spoons. And when you eat with the chopsticks, you literally just eat slower. I mean, I guess you could shovel stuff in your mouth if you brought your plate or bowl and just kind of did one of those things. But I have found over the years that I eat at a slower pace when I use chopsticks. And I just find that I chew my food more. I'm not shoveling it. Do you ever just, let me put it this way, especially for you single guys and gals, especially for you single ones. Like me, you sit down to eat by yourself most of the time, or if you're married and you're up early and you're making something for yourself and your spouse is still sleeping, I found that sitting alone and eating, that I don't enjoy the food as much when I was doing fork and spoon. Now, we're talking years now that I've been doing this. It's been years. And I was using, obviously, regular, I have regular chopsticks everywhere in the kitchen. But you don't eat slow when you're alone and single. I found that this slows me down a little bit. I enjoy my food more. I chew my food more. And I feel like I'm assimilating the nutrients more, or better, I should say, when I eat slower and chew more. Sounds weird, right? But get yourself a set. I think they come in you'll get 4 chopsticks, 2 sets when you order them. And these are, obviously, you can throw them in the dishwasher. They're indestructible. But the fact that they're Kabar chopsticks, I think is pretty funny. You can get all kinds of chopsticks online, but the Kabar ones just crack me up. It's funny, I think. Kabar chopsticks. Come on. All right, enough of that. Today is going to be a single topic daybreak show. Short, sweet, to the point. And it's going to start out with a question. You had a CDV, a clear, detailed vision of your future at one time, didn't you? You knew what you wanted in life. You knew how you wanted it. You knew the lifestyle that you wanted to live. But something happened that knocked you off course for a year, 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 20 years. You may have even created the situation that knocked you off course from pursuing your CDV, your clear, detailed vision. In other words, you might have thought that you wanted to pursue one thing, but then you fell in love, got married, and been married for 5, 10, 20 years. And you kind of forgot that clear, detailed vision. You had kids, and you had to work 2 jobs. Something came along. Maybe you went to jail. Maybe you went to rehab. Maybe you just got so discouraged, not depressed, but discouraged, that you forgot, you literally lost sight of that clear, detailed vision. Again, like I said, you may have created that situation. You might have had one of these weird accidents. You were broadsided at an intersection and had a life-changing tragedy, maybe with somebody dying. Maybe you got a disease and ended up being treated for that disease, or going through chemo or radiation or various treatments. Things knock you off course. Some things you create on your own. Some of those things you've created on your own. Other things might have happened randomly. But what I want to talk about this morning is that it's never too late to get your bearings and get the CDV back, the clear, detailed vision of your future. Now it's going to take action, focus, and fortitude. Action and actually planning something on the calendar with hard deadlines and accountability. It's going to take focus, which means every keystroke, every phone call, every correspondence. Focus, focus, focus. It's like the story that I told you. A traveler said to Socrates, "How do I get to Mount Olympus?" Socrates says, "Make sure every step you take is in the direction of Mount Olympus." That's focus right there. And then fortitude, which is kind of an old-fashioned word for guts, for balls. Action, focus, and fortitude. And it can be done. You can get that clear, detailed vision back. Now, like I said, it might be 1, 5, 10, or 20 years ago that you had that. Or you may never have had a clear, detailed vision of what you want your life to be. Most people's CDV has to do with housing, lifestyle, stuff, a car that they're driving, a vacation home, that kind of thing. Let me challenge you with this. Start with your state of being. Give me a clear, detailed vision of what you want your state of being to be. In other words, through the process of creating that clear, detailed vision, the first thing you need to do is create contentment for yourself. That's not going to come from a house, a car, a relationship. It's not going to happen. You need to make up in your mind that you're going to be happy no matter what the outcome. Now, you're going to be creating an outcome, but you're going to be happy and content while doing it, but still hungry and hustling and grinding, as they say. There's a lot of people who have goals, this maybe a clear, detailed vision of their future that includes driving a certain kind of car, having a certain kind of person on their arm, living in a certain kind of house. But they never planned on contentment to be part of it. So they hustle, they hustle, they hustle. It reminds me of the song. Hold on, let's find that song. Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads. You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack. You may find yourself in another part of the world. You may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile. You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife. And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? In other words, you still have that feeling of discontent. You achieved everything you want, and you worked on the external. I challenge you that your clear, detailed vision needs to include contentment, but still be hungry. You can't stop moving. When you stop moving, you're going to die. That's why I tell people in the Western world, be careful about talking about retirement. You might get to the point where you don't have to work 40 hours a week. Maybe reduce your days, reduce the hours in the day that you work, but still have a clear, detailed vision. Are you going to work for 40 years and then do nothing? Something happens to the mind when it has nowhere to go and nothing to do. Don't kid yourself. You have to stay hungry, I don't want to say keep hustling and grinding, but stay creating. People go from creating to consuming. I'm going to work real hard and then just consume for the rest of my life. Consumers get sick and die. Creators keep moving. The gears are always turning. So, the clear, detailed vision needs to include your mental state, your state of being. You need to have a component in there for how you're going to feel. And that is not random. You get to choose that. That's one thing that you get to choose, is your mental state of being, regardless of what's going on. So in the future, you will be content, you will be happy, but you will still be hungry. You will not rest. Now we move on from the mental, the internal, to the external. Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? Or does that even matter to you? Like for me, honest to God, if I came into $50 million, I would still drive my truck. I would still drive my truck. I like my truck. I wouldn't get rid of it just because I came into a lot of money. I wouldn't change my life. I wouldn't change what I drive. It runs great. It starts every time. It gets me from point A to point B. It's comfortable. I like it. So my clear, detailed vision for my future is taking a truck and seeing if I can get 500,000 miles on it. It's a weird goal, but some people instantly go out and buy the fancy car, spend money on a vehicle that would buy them a small home. Does nothing for me. I'm actually free from that. Now, I know people who drive supercars and muscle cars tend to have different personalities, tend to hang out with other people who have supercars, muscle cars, who tend to make more money, and I understand that game too. I totally understand that. Being part of a Corvette club, being part of the muscle car club, that kind of thing. Nothing wrong with that. Some people do it for networking purposes. Some people do it because they don't want to be the smartest person in the room, or at the club, or at the breakfast. And that's pretty darn honorable if that's part of if that's one of the tactics in your overall strategy. I 100% get that. I do. Your clear, detailed vision needs to include the kind of people you will have in your life. Will you slowly eliminate time wasters? Will you cultivate the habit of not inviting people in your life who waste your time? What other things can be involved in your clear, detailed vision of your future? I need a sip of coffee. What else can be included? a love interest. Maybe do you need to upgrade? Do you need to upgrade who you fall in love with, or who you are intimate with, or who you are inviting into your life? Instantly, when you have a clear, detailed vision of your future, and I'm not a big law of attraction guy at all. I'm not a law of attraction dude. That's too voodoo for me, to be honest with you. Like, I can stare at a ham sandwich and wish it'll be a roast beef sandwich. All I want. And it's going to stay a ham sandwich. Wishing and hoping is not a strategy. Think about all the facets in your life. The internal, the external, matters of the heart, not just matters of structure, of a roof over your head, or what you are driving. Take into consideration all of the facets of life in your clear, detailed vision. The attitude, matter of the heart. The mindset, that's the internal. The external, who are you inviting in your life? In 1, 5, 10, 20 years, who will it be? What do they look like? What habits do they have? What kind of house will you live in? Where is that house located? What do you see when you look out the window of your studio, your office, your study? What do you see? Do you see another house 10 feet away? Or do you see woods? Or do you see water? Do you see a beach? Do you see mountains? Do you see what I'm saying? The clear, detailed vision literally is you seeing a bare field, a barren field, like a farmer does. Think about this. A farmer takes a field that is barren, that is dirt, plants seeds that eventually become crops. The farmer has a vision for that barren field. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes the cooperation and planning and the vision of the farmer to get that barren land producing beautiful crops. One of the things that I do with people in my coaching and consulting, I don't do counseling and therapy. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in going backwards in life. I'm not interested in what happened to you after the dog peed on your leg when you were 3 years old. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in you now moving forward. In my life, I have a clear, detailed vision for my future. I can help you develop a clear, detailed vision for your future, whether it be life, love, career, business. That's one of the things that I do. That's one of the things that I'm very good at. It takes deadlines, hard deadlines, and accountability. So I will end with this. Do you have a clear, detailed vision of your future? Or are you in 1, 5, 10, or 20 years going to be, how did I get here? How did I become so unhappy? Who is at the steering wheel of your life right now? Isn't it time to take back the steering wheel? Right? You got thrown off course. Let me read that to you again. You had a clear, detailed vision for your future at one time in your life, didn't you? Something happened that knocked you off course for 1, 5, 10, or even 20 years. You may have even created that situation, but it's never too late to get your bearings and get your clear, detailed vision back. It's going to take action, focus, and fortitude, but it can be done. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you on the next Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other. So far as the echo, where do we start? You can learn to discover a million stars. Here in the shadows, I know you're scared. Take my hand, together we'll make a stand. We've got to fight to find a way. Dare to fall to find out what to say. No more hate. Just admit that you